The Cleveland Cavaliers weren't supposed to be this good, but here we are, more than halfway through the season, and they're torching the league. 7 straight wins, including a 37-point beatdown of the Knicks, the best offense in the NBA, the highest three-point percentage in the league. And the scariest part? They're locking teams up on defense, too.
To create, dumps off to Gibson, swatted by Mobley!
At 47-10, they're not just the #1 seed. They're the best team in the NBA and have proven they can beat anyone. But here's the problem. Nobody saw this coming, and now the rest of the league is scrambling to figure out how to stop them. So, how did this happen? And more importantly, can they actually win it all? Let's break it down. The Cleveland Cavaliers aren't just winning games. They're bulldozing teams. Riding a dominant 7-game win streak, they've stormed their way to a ridiculous 47-10 record, steamrolling through the Eastern Conference. But if one game sums up their dominance, it's their recent demolition job. A 37-point beatdown of the Knicks. From the opening tip, it was a massacre. Cleveland came out firing, putting up a ridiculous 41 points in the first quarter on 73.9% shooting. They were 10 for 11 at the rim, slicing through New York's defense like it wasn't even there. By halftime, the lead had ballooned to 27, and at one point in the fourth, it stretched to 42. This wasn't a game. It was a statement. Donovan Mitchell set the tone, dropping 27 points while orchestrating the offense with ruthless efficiency. Evan Mobley fed off the energy, adding 21 of his own as Cleveland completely overpowered the Knicks inside. The Cavs shot a staggering 60.9% from the field, outscored New York 66-38 in the paint, and buried 19 threes at a 51.4% clip. 6 players finished in double figures. This was a full-blown offensive clinic. For the Knicks, this was historic for all the wrong reasons. It was Tom Thibodeau's worst loss as their head coach and the 3rd worst of his entire career. And for Cleveland, it was just another night in what's shaping up to be a season for the books.
Depth that Cleveland does, and that definitely plays a role. Strus slams it down.
This win was yet another reminder of just how dominant Cleveland has been through 57 games of the 24-25 season. It marked their 2nd largest victory of the year and added to an already absurd stat line: 14 wins by 20 or more points, tying the most in franchise history. On top of that, they've cracked 140 points for the 4th time this season, more than any Cavs team ever. The reason? An offense that's not just efficient, but deep, relentless, and built to overwhelm. To understand just how elite Cleveland's offense has been this season, you have to look back at last year, because every metric will tell you the same thing. The Cavs didn't just improve, they shattered expectations and vaulted themselves into title contention. Last season, this wasn't supposed to be possible. The Cavs had legitimate offensive hurdles, starting with their front court. Playing 2 non-shooting bigs together is a spacing nightmare. Sure, Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen made Cleveland an elite defensive team, but offensively, it was a mess. The floor was constantly cramped, and the Cavs struggled to keep up with the league's best scoring teams. That weakness was brutally exposed in the playoffs, where they finished bottom 3 in offensive rating in back-to-back postseason appearances. Then there was the backcourt dynamic. Balancing 2 high-usage guards isn't easy, and Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell felt out of sync for most of the season. They could each take over a game, but rarely at the same time. Instead of running a smooth, high-powered offense, it felt like they were taking turns, never fully unlocking each other's potential. And again, the playoffs made this painfully clear, as neither guard found their rhythm in Cleveland's 5-game collapse against the Knicks.
Gotta hurry, 2 seconds left. Knicks gonna back off. Mitchell's 3 no good, and the New York Knicks take game 1.
But then, Kenny Atkinson, former Warriors assistant, took over as head coach this past summer and immediately got to work. He knew the challenges. He knew Garland and Mitchell had to click, and he knew that unlocking Evan Mobley's full potential was the key to everything. Atkinson had a vision, and he executed it to perfection. Fast forward to this season, and the results speak for themselves. The Cavs aren't just good offensively, they're historically good. They own the highest offensive rating in the league at 122.6. They lead the NBA in points per game with 122.8 and points per 100 possessions with 122.56. And they're doing it with insane efficiency. They have the best three-point percentage in the league at 39.3%, the second best field goal percentage at 49.8%, the best effective field goal percentage at 58.8%, and the best true shooting percentage at 61.6%. Cleveland's offense isn't just elite, it's a machine, and it's being fueled by their three-headed monster of Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley, who are all playing at an all-NBA level. For the first time, all three made the All-Star team, and their chemistry has never looked better. But beyond individual talent, the biggest reason for this offensive explosion is a complete shift in play style. Atkinson has transformed the Cavaliers into a free-flowing, fast offense. Cleveland now plays at the 5th fastest pace in the league, a huge leap from the 22nd pace last season. Quick-hitting actions get everyone involved, a stark contrast to the old one-man army approach. The Cavs are generating more possessions, taking shots faster, and diversifying their attack. And speaking of their offense, Donovan Mitchell has always been the headliner, the sun at the center of his team's solar system. That formula brought him 5 All-Star nods, an All-NBA selection, and 7 straight playoff berths. This season, his minutes, field goal attempts, touches, and usage are down, yet his per-possession production remains rock solid. More of his baskets are coming from assists now, and he's still dropping all-star numbers averaging 24.2 points, 4.8 assists, and 4.3 rebounds, while shooting 45.6% from the field and 39.6% from three. Darius Garland has evolved into a complete player. He attacks the rim at a career-best clip, knocks down threes with confidence, and dishes out plays like a seasoned maestro. Garland is averaging 21.3 points per game, 6.7 assists, 2.5 rebounds, and 1.1 steals, while shooting 49.3% from the floor and 42.5% from beyond the arc.
Darius Garland over the timeline. Garland for the win! Oh!
In their second year together, Mitchell and Garland have found their rhythm, each complementing the other's scoring threat and keeping the opposing teams on their heels. Evan Mobley has taken another giant leap. He's become a walking mismatch, using his size to bully smaller defenders and his speed to leave slower bigs in the dust. His confidence is surging. He's already matched the number of 25-plus point games in 1 week of February that he put up all of last season. Plus, Mobley is averaging a career-high 18.7 points and 9.3 rebounds per game. He's also stepping outside more, nearly tripling his three-point attempts from 1.2 to 2.8 per game while hitting a career-high 36.5% from deep. The Cavaliers also get solid contributions from Jarrett Allen and a deep rotation of role players. The modern game demands an arsenal of 3 and D specialists, and Max Strus, Dean Wade, Isaac Okoro, Georges Niang, and the newly added DeAndre Hunter all deliver. When everything clicks, Cleveland's offense is an unstoppable force, as shown in their lopsided 142-105 beatdown of the New York Knicks. In that game, nothing was off. They nailed every outside shot, dominated at the rim, and locked it down on defense. But as great as an offense can be, it can be completely stifled by bad defense. That's not the case with the Cavs this season. Anchored by Defensive Player of the Year candidate Evan Mobley and the ever-reliable Jarrett Allen, Cleveland boasts a defensive rating of 111.2, one of the best in the league. And this isn't just about 2 elite rim protectors carrying the load. The Cavs' defense is rock solid at every level. They allowed just 47.4 points in the paint per game, making life miserable for anyone trying to score inside.
Ball. Celtics have gone from it. Mobley down the lane, thunders at home.
Mobley's versatility lets him switch onto perimeter players and contest shots from anywhere, while Allen locks down the paint as one of the league's best shot blockers. What really makes them dangerous is how they extend that defensive dominance beyond the paint. The Cavs shut down the three-point line, forcing opponents into low-percentage shots with relentless closeouts from Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, and Darius Garland. Teams can't get easy buckets inside, but they also can't rely on threes to make up the difference. And when opponents do manage to get shots up, the Cavs are elite at preventing second-chance opportunities. They dominate the defensive glass, securing rebounds at a high rate and ensuring that one bad possession stays a bad possession. On top of that, they limit fast break points, allowing just 15.8 opponent points off turnovers per game, meaning teams don't even get easy runouts in transition. This defensive dominance was on full display against the Knicks. New York entered the game with the NBA's fourth best scoring offense with 118.3 points per game and third best field goal percentage at 49.4%. But Cleveland held them to just 105 points on 47.2% shooting. This is what separates the Cavs from other high-powered teams. They don't just rely on offense to win games, they control games. They space the floor with elite shooting, torch teams on one end, and then shut them down on the other. And the scariest part, nobody saw this coming. But now, the NBA has a problem. The Cavs aren't just good, they're legit. And the rest of the league is scrambling to figure out how to stop them.
Get a shot in flow that feels good, that looks good, that goes through the net.
Mobley insisting.
If history repeats itself, recent NBA Finals prove that size in the front court still matters. The Lakers won the 2020 title with Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard dominating the paint. The Bucks followed in 2021 with Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo as a dominant defensive duo. Cleveland is treading the same path with Mobley and Allen as their twin towers. Their presence as two 7-footers who can protect the rim and switch onto perimeter scorers gives the Cavs a defensive backbone. Even with an undersized all-star backcourt of Mitchell and Garland, Cleveland has found a way to thrive. Since the beginning of February, the Cavs have posted the best defensive rating in the league. That defensive identity is why they're winning games they would have lost in prior years, proving their mettle against playoff-caliber teams and crafting a formula that works especially on defense. And as long as their play remains consistent, Cleveland should be in the hunt for a title. And speaking of winning it all, through 57 games, the Cavaliers lead the Eastern Conference and rank second in the NBA with a plus 11.3 average point differential. They are one of just 2 teams in the league with a double-digit point differential, alongside the Oklahoma City Thunder with plus 12.9. They're also in a tight battle for the #1 seed with OKC. But in the end, regular season accolades don't mean much. As the 72-win Chicago Bulls famously said, "Don't mean a thing without the ring." The Bucks led the NBA for a while before finally winning it all in 2021.
Crowder crowds Antetokounmpo. Gets past him inside for the slam.
The Celtics went through the same thing, one of the best teams in the league for years, but they didn't get their flowers until they won the championship last June. If the Cavaliers want to be remembered, they have to win a title. And the reality is, they have the team to do just that. A team with an elite offense that bombs away from deep, dominates the paint, and posts 49, 39, 78 shooting splits. A defense that can shut down top competition. A team that consistently wins the possession battle, ranking near the top in both forcing and preventing turnovers. And 3 All-Stars in Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley, who can take over on any given night. That sounds like a really tough team to beat, but they have to prove it against seasoned opposition like the Celtics, Knicks, and Bucks. Right now, things are clicking in Cleveland, and if they keep playing at this level, the Cavaliers are going to be a very real NBA Finals contender. So what do you think? Are the Cavs officially title contenders? Or is this just a hot streak that won't last? Will they rise to the occasion or crumble when it matters most? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA Breakdown.